I believe that we can learn to play an opening through seeing multiple games. In this case, I would like to show game 1 from this book because it will teach us a lot about this Kalashnikov Sicilian. So game 1 is between Mikhail Potusparsky and Sergei Burimov. It was played in Tula 2005. In this game we see the d7, d5 pawn break. This is perhaps the most common and most important early middle game strategy in the Kalashnikov. e4, c5, knight f3, knight f6, knight c6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, and now you don't take here, you play e5 and knight f5. This move is not at all challenging and gives black the opportunity to break in the center straight away. d5. All aboard at Liberation Station. The pawn break immediately liberates black's pieces. It usually isn't quite as easy to execute as here. Knight g3. A poor move, wasting time. It seems white's best move is queen takes d5, queen takes d5, e takes d5, bishop takes f5, d takes c6, and b takes c6. Although, as you will see from the repertoire, black is comfortably placed. Comfortably placed, but let's start to count the fact that here black has two isolated pawns, while white has a perfect pawn structure. This is a kind of majority on the queen side. I don't know. I don't really see it bad as black for black. However, this generally kingside majority is something that it's usable in the endgame, and lately I've seen that most master level games are able to gain an advantage from it. Again, we are all different. So let's return back to the original position, because in this way we are trying to memorize also the opening and its moves. So e4, c5, knight f3, knight c6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, e5, knight f5, and d5, and now we play knight g3. Okay, knight f6. Black already has a lead in development, 2 pieces out to 1. E takes d5, queen takes d5, queen takes d5, and knight takes d5. Black adds into the endgame, confident that he can still use his lead in development and superior pawn structure. Okay. After the pawn break, black has an extra centric pawn, e5, which provides him with greater control in the middle of the board. c3, bishop e6, bishop e2, bishop e7, castle, castle, and knight d2. Evidently black's pieces are well centralized and harmoniously placed. There is nothing to thwart the natural plan of advancing the kingside pawn majority. So advance means f5. The steamroller. This is often an excellent plan when the queens are on the board, as it can set up a kingside attack. Even in this endgame the pawns are dangerous, preventing white's minor pieces from occupying central squares. King h1, rook a d8, knight f3, h6. Black is playing tidily, taking away the g5 square from the knight before pushing on. Bishop c4, e4, and rook e1. A picture of centralization, it says. Okay, knight c7, bishop takes e6, check, knight takes e6, knight d2, knight c5, knight c4, and knight d3. This is what we call the octopus, right? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Many moves ago, white played the pawn c3 to prevent black knights from moving into the d4 before squares. But he created a huge hole, which has been occupied by a rangy octopus knight. What central control? This is a logical consequence of a pawn break at move 5. Rook f1, protecting this. b5. Well, we can see that black has more space, and probably his pieces are becoming more active thanks to that. Knight f3, bishop takes f3, knight b takes f3, and knight c e5. Knight number 2 enters the fray with cover from the central pawns. And now there is a mistake by white, which is bishop e3. It seems he should have played this, king g1. Boop. So bishop e3, and okay, now you can see what happens, right? It's quite simple. f4, and black wins. Hope you enjoyed this game from this incredible book that I like very much, because it's a repertoire for black and the diagrams are oriented from the right side, which is from black side. There is, however, all the theory that you can want, not only the games, but I like the games because they make me remember easily some of the middle game themes.